Hi there crafters, it's Louise with you today. Welcome along and thanks for checking out this video. This one's a little bit different and it's inspired by the story of the photos, and I wanted to incorporate my journaling element with my title. So what I mean is I want to take, say 3 in this case, larger words, so Cooper never sleeps, and actually build that into the journaling element. So off to the side on just a scrap piece of note paper, I have written how I want this journaling to appear. And so essentially, if you can't see it, because I know it is really tricky with the silver pen that I've used, it says, "Oh, Mr. Cooper, you never like day sleeps, but a big day in the pool equals cactus." So Cooper never sleeps becomes the large title words, and then the journaling words around those fill in the part of the story. Hopefully I've explained sort of how this came about well enough for you to understand what my intentions were. And I do apologise that the silver pen is quite hard to see. It did not matter how I photographed this layout, I could not get that silver pen to show up. So firstly, what I'm going to do is, and I know this is probably going to shock some of you because I hardly ever use my T-square. I like to just slap things on the page, and I'm not normally too concerned with whether they're in line or not. So getting the T-square out in this case is going to help me because I need to make sure that this, because this is such a feature of the page, it really needs to be straight and it needs to be even so that I can fill in the journaling pieces around it, but also because I've got those extra words to go in there as well. So as you can see also, I'm using a little bit of glue on the backs of those letters, and this is purely just for longevity because my letters seem to lose their stick somehow. So I like to just give things a little bit of extra stick and make sure that they are going to last on the layout. And you can also see here as the movie moves forward where I've popped that journaling in. So I've got this sort of cluster area down in the bottom right where I've used one of the frames. I've filled in my journaling. I've done a little border. I decide that I'm going to mimic the frame that I've used from the Cocoa Vanilla part of the collection and actually fill in my border with these little stripes. So a bit of a labour of love, and I'm going to fill in some of that off camera because really you don't need to sit there and watch me doodling around a border. But I do love the little fussy cut flower here. I think it's just quite beautiful, and letting it peek out from behind that sort of patterned word paper suits my layout quite nicely. It's really just about building embellishments and emphasising the story that I've got going on here. So you can see I've got my title element already done. I've got my journaling element done. My photos help to tell my story. It all ties in together. At this point, it's really just about enhancing around the different areas. And so sometimes this is what I'll do is I'll actually just tuck in a few little elements here and there. So this was actually one of the packaging pieces that I think the stamp this month came in. So all I did was just round the corners off and tuck it in behind my photo. So it's not always necessary to completely use a whole sheet of paper. You can actually just tuck things in behind your photos, and that works for me. That's how I like to scrap, so that's what I go along with. Okay, so as this page continues, I struggle a little bit because I like where this is at, but I feel like it needs something a little bit more. And I'm not sure what that little bit more is. And I think I'm not completely settled on this layout, but because I've got the one little flower in there, I felt like this layout the one flower looked a bit funny. The story of Cooper never sleeping and having that little single flower there, it just didn't sit right for me. And so I pull out the stamp and just with some lighter ink, so I didn't want it to be black because I didn't want it to overwhelm the layout. Around my border, I'm just going to stamp some more of those little florals. And I really think that this works quite well. So it's one of those things where sometimes all you need is just a little bit of extra enhancement. And in this case, those stamping elements work quite well. I'm not a huge stamper. I can't actually remember the last time I stamped on a layout, but I definitely feel like the stamping elements really did make a difference and add that little something extra. So I'm happy that I went along with that. Now we've got those florals, so I decide to just keep rolling with it, and I add some of the little stamped hearts in here as well. This works super. I love how this looks. I think it enhances the border. It really draws your eye to the title. I think the final thing that it needs is just a little bit more embellishing underneath that photo, so you can see that I have embellished the top section of the photo. So I'm going to fussy cut another floral and just create a little bit more in this bottom section. So next, after the floral, I'm going to go with my go-to and build a little banner to just poke out either side. So using a little bit of the pattern paper, just cutting a nice simple banner, tucking it in because the layout just needed that little bit of something extra. It was quite black at the bottom there. So banners are a great way to build areas of interest behind clusters, behind photos, and it just helps to sort of finish it off a little bit. So the final stages for this is just a couple of little banners. I'm adding a few little bits and pieces. I'm going to doodle around them as well. But essentially, I'm very happy with this. The initial idea of the Cooper Never Sleeps as the title with the addition of the journaling was really what I wanted to focus on. And everything else beyond that is just embellishing and adding to this particular layout. So I really would encourage you to have a go at this type of journaling. Stretch your go-to methods for scrapbooking and give this one a go if it's not something you've tried before. So I thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed this video from me. Please always leave comments. They are most welcome, both, constructive and criticism. I definitely like to see what you think about layouts. It's always good to read what works and what doesn't work or what you would have done differently. So please make sure you leave a comment. I do like to see them. Thank you, and make sure that you have either checked out or subscribed or visit Kitaholic Kits shop online. They have lots of great stuff and, of course, their monthly kit subscription. So thanks for watching and happy scrapping.